The Stag at the Pool by James Reeves. Stag went down to a pool to drink. As he lapped the cool water, he noticed his reflection and said to himself, "What magnificent antlers I have! How slender and graceful they are, and how delicately curved and branched! But it's a pity about my skinny legs and small feet. They rather spoil my good looks." At that moment, a hunting horn was heard, and a pack of hounds streamed down the hill towards the pool, followed by 2 or 3 huntsmen on horseback. Instantly, Stag stopped drinking and took to his heels. He coursed over the fields until he came to the shelter of a thicket. His legs had carried him beyond the reach of the hounds, but his antlers got caught in the branches of a tree. He only just managed to free himself before the hounds came in sight, and once more he ran for his life. When he had thrown off the pursuit, he stood still, panting and breathless. "Ah," said Stag, "I shouldn't have spoken badly of the legs and feet that nature gave me. They saved my life. As for my beautiful antlers, they were almost my undoing." Use is of more importance than ornament. The Stag and His Reflection by Susan J. Orrick. The summer day was hot and long. The stag was feeling dry. He stopped to take a deep, cool drink when something caught his eye. "Can that be me?" he asked himself. He stared in the lagoon. "What handsome antlers grace my head. Their beauty makes me swoon." He turned to see his left profile, then turned to see his right. "I'm gorgeous, noble, stunning, bold, a visual delight. My antlers are magnificent. They suit me like a crown. I'd no idea they were so grand, so graceful, so profound." So overcome was he with pride, so caught in admiration, he took a few steps backward for more self-evaluation. "What's this?" he almost gasped aloud. "This will not do at all. My legs are spindly like a fawn's. My hooves are dull and small. Oh, they look ridiculous," he said. "I wish they were not mine. They really do not fit a stag whose antlers are so fine." Just then he heard the huntsman's horn and baying hounds behind. So deeply had he been in thought, he now was in a bind. He quick leapt through the nearest trees and set a valiant pace. He ran deep into the forest as the dogs took up the chase. He forded streams, jumped over logs, weaved deftly through the wood, until he reached a thicket which he thought looked safe and good. He charged straight in and snagged his horns upon a thorny limb. As the hounds drew ever closer, his hope grew very dim. He struggled and he thrashed about to break his antlers free. He thought, "These horns which made me vain shall be the death of me. I criticized my legs and hooves, which were both fast and strong, and gloried in my antlers, but I now know I was wrong." With this, the stag became quite calm, resigned to what would be. And since he did not twist and squirm, the antlers soon came free. Thus he escaped the thicket snare, and the fierce hounds as well. His strong legs took him far away, his story to retell. And if by chance you meet this stag, you'll surely hear him say, "Don't count too much on beauty, friends. What's useful saves the day." The Stag and His Mirrors by Tony Ross. A stag had just moved into an apartment. He went to a big store and bought some chairs, a TV, and a video recorder. Still, the apartment needed something. Ah, that was it. The walls were bare. The stag ran back to the store and asked to see some paintings. The salesman showed him lots, all with stags standing on hills. "Don't you have anything more, well, cheerful?" said the stag. "No more paintings," said the salesman. "But you are such a handsome guy. Have you considered a mirror?" "Handsome guy?" thought the stag. "I'll take one," he said. The salesman didn't think the stag was particularly handsome, but at least he'd made a sale. The stag hung the mirror over the fireplace. "I certainly am handsome," he said. "Look at the graceful curve of those horns." The stag admired his horns every day, and as time went by, he hung mirrors on all his walls so he could see his handsome horns wherever he looked. Now, I must buy a big mirror to stand on the floor, thought the vain animal as he hurried back to the department store. The salesman showed him a beautiful long mirror, and the stag stepped back to admire himself. What a shock he got. In the smaller mirrors, he had only seen his head and shoulders. Now he could see all of himself. Those wonderful horns, and, oh dear, those dopey, spindly, thin, funny-looking, hairy, awful little legs. The stag refused to buy the mirror and rushed out of the department store. Outside he ran, bump, into a gang of uncouth wolves back from a football game. "Get him!" they screamed, pointing at the stag. The stag ran off, and his dopey, spindly, thin, funny-looking, hairy, awful little legs allowed him to escape from the wolves. He ran much faster than any of them, and only stopped when he spied his reflection in a shop window on the corner. How handsome his horns looked. But wait, they were tangled in the overhead trolley wires. And a trolley car was coming.